Everything we did, all those people we saved, look what it got us. But what if, just once, we did something just for us? Welcome to Should You Watch This with the Popcorn Priest, a weekly podcast where movie enthusiasts, ex-movie theater projectionists, new and old friends take the time to talk about a movie that we just watched and answer that very question, should or shouldn't you watch this? I'm your host, Chris Compton. Let's get into our review and breakdown of Army of the Dead from 2021. Before we begin this week's episode, I'm going to try something new on the show. We're going to release the first half of the review this week, a spoiler-free intro of the movie, and then the following week we'll release part 2, which is the deep dive breakdown of the same movie. This will give you the opportunity to go watch it and then come back the next week and listen to our take. Or you don't have to watch it. Just come on back and nestle in for the meat and potatoes of the review. Let me know if you like it or hate it. Tweet me at @PopcornPriest. All right, we return you to your regularly scheduled program of Should You Watch This with the Popcorn Priest. Enjoy.
What the? Oh, Scheiße.
You don't know what it's like in there. Not anymore. They're not what you think they are.
The Alphas.
They're smarter. They're faster. They're organized. Straight out of your nightmares.
Joining me today, all the way from Brazil, is two-time guest Dan Sacklunch Sekulich. Welcome back to the show, man.
Happy to be here, brother. I always love being on this pod. I love listening to the pod, so pretty stoked.
Yeah, I'm glad you're back and glad we're doing it again. The description for this one, this was my pick, Army of the Dead. The description for this one, following a zombie outbreak in Las Vegas, a group of mercenaries take the ultimate gamble, venturing into the quarantine zone to pull off the greatest heist ever attempted. Directed by Zack Snyder, top billed stars Dave Bautista, Ella Purnell, Ana de la Reguera, and Theo Rossi, is Juice from Sons of Anarchy.
Wait, which one was Juice? Oh, yeah.
The guy that great. Gets spoiler alert, he gets turned into an aggressive one. Yeah, he was the a-hole in the quarantine zone that was being inappropriate with the ladies. That's Theo.
Got it.
Yeah. Runtime of 2 hours and 28 minutes. Rated R. Yeah, dude. We'll get to that in a minute. Genre on Rotten Tomatoes says horror/action compared to IMDb's action, crime, horror, sci-fi thriller. A little excessive. What would you call it?
I would probably call it horror and action.
Yeah. Yeah, horror action is great. I think Rotten Tomatoes got it this time. IMDb is sprinkling a little too much juice on that one.
They always are.
Exactly. IMDb, speaking of, gives it 5.8 out of 10 from 125,000 reviews. Rotten Tomato, however, gives it 68% from the critics, 267 critic ratings, and 75% from the rest of us. So box office haul on this one, obviously this was released on Netflix, so it wasn't released in theaters, but I looked it up. This one was a $90 million budget, and now in the streaming world, there isn't a box office. This was in development hell for 10 years at Warner Brothers, and they didn't want to make a zombie movie, so Netflix stepped in and gave it the green light.
Did I hear that this was actually done before Justice League?
Well, it was in development hell for 10 years, so I think this was done after.
For some reason, I thought I had heard that it was something to do, but I guess there's some Easter eggs with Justice League that we'll probably talk about.
Yeah. So I did look up some streaming stats. In its first 4 weeks on Netflix, the film garnered an estimated 72 million views, making it one of the most successful debuts on the platform. And that seems crazy to me.
That's definitely impressive. I wonder is there any metrics that say what that would translate over to the box office dollars?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could probably do some of the rough math, like, you know, you multiply however many people are subscribing and you times that by 72 million. Like, obviously they're subscribing for other things too, but I mean, I can't imagine.
Yeah, it would have been, I'm sure it would have been a couple 100 million.
Yeah. But I can't imagine this is the most successful. I mean, so far it seems aggressive, but maybe it was. I'll have to believe the internet.
Yeah, maybe.
Speaking of the internet, this is the only place you can watch it. Like I said, it's streaming on Netflix, and to my knowledge, it's a Netflix joint, so it'll be there forever. So as long as you can watch Netflix, you'll be able to watch Army of the Dead. Now that brings us to the hottest segment on podcasting right now.
Hottest.
Should or shouldn't you watch this? 5 reasons why you should watch this, Army of the Dead. Number 1, if you like zombie movies, that's number 1. If you like Zack Snyder and it seems like the internet loves him right now for some reason, you should watch this. Number 3, if you're watching The Tiger King and you were wondering what a zombie tiger would look like, look no further. Number 4, if you want to see some amazing acting, then maybe not this one. Not good acting.
No.
Horrible acting.
No.
And number 5, if you want to see a movie that is 30 to 45 minutes too long, then this is for you.
Way too long.
Dude, the opening credits are 14 minutes into the film. 14 minutes you get the opening credits.
Well, I think you get the entire movie in the first 14 minutes.
Oh, man. Yeah, do you want to add any should or shouldn't watch this reasons?
No, like I'm going to pick this thing apart throughout as we start to get into it. I think we're going to come to the same consensus at the end, which surprised me. Going into it, I didn't think, but now that I'm hearing some of your things right now, because we don't talk about this beforehand,
no,
right? So,
I didn't mention anything to you before.
Clearly, yeah, I think we're probably going to end up in the same place.
Well, that is good because for the listeners, just to give you some background, Dan and I have been playing Call of Duty Zombies for as long as I can remember. Before I even was like
old school zombie.
Old school Call of Duty Zombies.
Like that was our favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah. World at War for those gamers.
Yeah, yeah. And we would just sit there, drink Mountain Dew, and shoot zombies for like 4 hours straight. And so when this came out, I texted you. I'm like, dude, we have to watch this. It seems like exactly what we would love.
I'm all in. I was all in.
So that's the background. So we were pumped about it. I wasn't like overly, there wasn't too much expectations. I was just pumped for a zombie movie. So anyway, that being said.
Like this, well, and I'll be honest with you, like Snyder did Dawn of the Dead, right? Which was great.
Which was great.
I thought that was really, really good. Yeah, I thought that was awesome. And then you look at all these other zombie movies, zombie shows. Like, there's been a lot of really, really watchable and good shows, like Zombieland, amazing. So I was hyped for this for sure.
Yeah. This goes without saying at this point, there's going to be spoilers up ahead. So if you really want to watch this sans spoilers, which it's no big deal, then go watch it now and come back. But yeah, let's jump into our review of Army of the Dead. Sorry. So I've got some trivia that I can hit you with. I've got some number trivia, which I, for some reason, really dig. I've got popcorn beefs. I've got a couple of new categories that I'm debuting on this podcast. So where I'm going to start with the trivia. So Dave Bautista turned down an offer to appear in the Suicide Squad in order to work on this film. Like, come on, man. Like, that was the wrong choice. You should have gone and been in the Suicide Squad. Like,
however, I have to confess something. I didn't even finish Suicide Squad. I thought it was
Oh,
That's
no.
terrible.
I'm talking about the Suicide Squad that's coming out that James Gunn has directed, not the crappy one.
Okay.
The one that's going to, I think,
So
gonna be
you
really
thought that
good.
first one was garbage.
Yeah. My take on the other Suicide Squad was I was like sitting there watching it. Oh man, this is really cool. And then it would just go to some weird cutscene, and then it would go to, and I'm like, no, I want more of that. Oh, it's gone. And then I'd be confused and angry, and then there'd be another cool like scene, and I'm like, oh, this is really cool. And then I'm like, oh. So I did that like for 2 hours. Yeah. It was.
Yeah, I didn't finish it. Anyways, okay, go on with your trivia.
So Dave Bautista turned it down. James Gunn, who is the guy who wrote the new Suicide Squad, which I think is going to be great, had written Zack Snyder's previous zombie film, Dawn of the Dead, but passed on writing this film due to his focusing on the Suicide Squad. And I think that's to the detriment of this film, because James Gunn is a brilliant writer. Yeah. You can tell that like someone who's not a great writer, which is Zack Snyder, he's a good director, just not a good writer. And he just was like, oh yeah, this has got to be good. We got to keep this as well. Let's leave this in.
Let's like make a movie of nothing but zombie headshots.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
I mean, to be honest, I wish there were more. Like, give me more.
Maybe. Yeah. Anyway, go on.
Anything the actors touched or walked on was real and practical. Everything else consisted of the tops of buildings and Las Vegas skyline were created by visual effects. So I thought that was interesting because anything that they were interacting with was real, but everything behind them's not. So do you want to talk?
Interesting.
No, do you want to talk about the comedian that got cut from this film?
That's exactly where I was going to go. Like, speaking of CGI, they had to CGI her face on that guy. Yeah, that's exactly where I wanted to go.
No, it's not her face, her whole body. So they brought in comedian Tig Notaro to replace comedian Chris D'Elia, I think is how his name's pronounced.
Yeah.
Because he was accused of multiple women of predatory sexual behavior. So they took him out of the whole movie. That's insane.
Right.
And did you ever feel like,
right.
I mean, it seemed like his part, if you were to pick any of the characters of this movie to have sexual misconduct and remove him, it seemed like he was the best choice because he was always off doing something else from the group. But there were some...
Yeah, I wonder if he had a bigger part and they cut a lot out. So maybe this marathon was supposed to be 2 hours, 50 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It was like a full work shift.
Yeah, dude. Maybe it was. I mean, maybe that's good that he got cut because then the movie would have been, like you said, another 30 minutes long. Ugh.
Oh man. But yeah, that was interesting. You couldn't really see it though. I mean, they did a great job.
Yeah, the weird things that I noticed were a couple of scenes where she's not looking in the right direction and everyone else is, right. Especially in like the marketing shots of like posters and you know banner ads and stuff. She's just looks like she's cut and pasted in the background, which is really weird.
Yeah, different for sure. But I don't know. I wasn't impressed with that character anyway.
Yeah. So here's another thing I wanted to ask you, because again, we're zombie, not nerds, but we like zombies. So what did you think? There were two different types of zombies in the film. The first were called the Shamblers, and the Shamblers represented the classic image of the zombie, you know, the slow moving, dragging their feet stereotype. And then there were the Alphas, which were fast, aggressive, and intelligent. What did you think about that?
I would actually say that there was three different types.
Oh, really?
So the two that you just described, when they're in the casino floor with a flood of them coming through, one of them gets shot in the head and it's a robot.
Oh,
did you notice that?
Dude, I did. I didn't notice it, but I looked this up. I saw about this. Zack Snyder, this is never explained in the film, but Zack Snyder confirmed if you pay close attention, there's a number of zombies that are clearly not zombies. They're robots. Like, what the crap?
Right.
You picked up on that? I didn't even see that.
I did see it while I was watching it. Now,
Why?
do you want to go over some of these Easter eggs? Well, he said, so I think it might tie into some of these other Easter eggs. Do you want to get into some of the Easter eggs?
I mean, I did notice that in the opening scene, there were 2 UFOs that can be seen while a convoy is leaving Area 51. They're like flying away, which was, I mean, that's interesting. What else did you see?
Well, they were leaving Area 51. Well, if they're leaving Area 51, right, and they're talking, like the soldiers are actually talking about, hey, what are we hauling? We just left Area 51. So, are these alien beings? Are they, like, it's super weird.
Yeah, there was some like discussion about how potentially this was an extraterrestrial like infestation or like some kind of sickness or something that got here. But which brings me to the opening sequence of how this thing got released into the earth. It's so lame, dude. Mm-hmm. It's the most lame thing. The guy... Well, folks, sorry to cut this discussion off, trying to keep it spoiler-free for you. Find out even more trivia, more stats, more reasons why we felt like this just didn't live up to the hype. Join us next week for part 2 of our review and breakdown of Army of the Dead from 2021. See you guys next week.